There we go. Can you hear me? Thank you very much for letting me know that. Oh man, that's a bummer. So I have just been cooking up the bacon and the chicken pieces, and I just added the vegetables in it, the assortment of vegetables. I'm just letting that cook on the griddle and giving it time to do its thing. I seasoned it a little bit, and I was just kind of talking about the rice. And the rice that I make is a special kind of a rice. It's an old-fashioned rice, and it's I basically just put a pot of water on the stove and let that come to a boil and dump the desired amount of rice that I want in there. The long grain white rice that I use, if you use a cup of dried rice, will equal 3 cups of cooked rice. So I have about 4.5 cups of rice that I use for this recipe. And, you know, I do have, just one second, let me go lay down. My dog likes to just bark and bark and bark. So I have to get her so she's not she's driving me crazy from barking. There you go. She still likes to sit up on top of the chair, and so sometimes she just likes to look out the window and bark and bark and bark, which drives me crazy. And so I'm going to just check this, and be careful when you're using the lid. When you open it up, you're going to get some steam, so you don't want to burn yourself. So I go to the side when I'm doing that, and I'm just going to take and just stir this gently like that. And as far as the vegetables that I'm using broccoli, zucchini. I'm sorry, not broccoli. I'm using zucchini, yellow squash, onions, celery, carrots, and mushrooms is what I have in this one. And you can use any type of vegetables that you want. You don't have to use a certain amount. You don't have to use exactly what I'm using. You can just kind of, like, I just go in my refrigerator sometimes. Normally I would put peppers in this, cut up some peppers, but I think my brother's going to be eating it and he's allergic to peppers, so I'm not putting the peppers in. I'm just leaving it out. And it'll still taste awesome. It tastes really good even though you don't. But there's different things that you can add to it. I've actually even gone and used frozen vegetables, gone to the store and used the pre-cut up stuff. And in the freezer section, you can use that in place of the fresh vegetables. You can also go in the deli section or the fresh food section. You can buy like pre-cut up celery and onion and the carrots and all that already in package. So all you have to do is just dump it in. That's perfect for a recipe like this. Just small pieces. And if you have bigger pieces, it's just going to take just a longer to cook. So it is up to you. I like small, so it's quick cooking and just let it do its thing. But yeah. So as far as this recipe, I have a cookbook, Recipes for the Blackstone Griddle, and this recipe is in there on page 41. So if you have my cookbook, you can follow along with this recipe. The measurements are just a little bit different. I think this is for like maybe a little bit smaller batch. It calls for 4 cups of cooked rice, and I'm using like what am I using? 3, 4, I'm using about 4.5. I'm probably about 5 cups of rice. is what I'm using in it. So just a little bit more. I'm using more bacon and more vegetables in it. So it's, you know, is pretty, I can smell it. It's like really, really the aroma. This smells really good. This is a recipe that my kids ask for all the time. And I always make a really, whoops, we're not using that one. Make a really big batch because this is better the next day. So the leftovers, you want leftovers with this because everybody will be fighting over the leftovers. I know my family, when I first started making this, they would actually take containers of it, put it in the refrigerator, mark their name on it, and say, do not touch this, and actually hide it in the refrigerator. They did that all the time. That's how good this recipe is. So everything is cooking. You just kind of let it cook and do its thing. And so now I'm just making like a little hole in the middle of this, and I'm going to scramble the egg. So we have, you want to keep the egg separate and not scramble it right in. You actually want chunks of the egg. So I'm going to just take, I have 3 eggs that I'm going to use, and you can use 1 egg. You can use the, you know, I'm actually using more than I probably normally would use. So I pop the eggs, and then I'm just letting them cook. That is one thing with this. It's like, just be patient with it and let it do its thing. And once you kind of, I see that at the bottom is getting the white underneath there, but the top is still runny and still yolky. So I'm just going to scramble that, and I'm just going to scramble it in the middle here. And I'm not going to really try to add any of the other stuff to it. The fried rice ingredients to it, because I want that chunks of that scrambled egg into it. I don't want to start mixing the egg, the runny egg yolk into the vegetables until that is scrambled. That is one thing that's a key thing to this ingredient, this recipe, is having those chunks of egg in it. And I don't know if you, let's see if we can get close up here. So I'm just taking, it's runny on the top, but it's getting cooked on the bottom. And I am just scraping just like that. So I'm getting that. And if you get a little bit in there, that's fine. It's not a big deal, but it's just, it will, if you like scramble this all together at the very beginning, you'll get a different resulting rice with this. It won't have the same texture to it, and you won't have those visible pieces of scrambled egg, which is the key to making fried rice, is having that visible scrambled egg all the way through it. Okay, so we have it softly scrambled. There's really no runny part to it. So now I'm going to take and mix all of this together like that. And I may end up grabbing my bigger spatula. And yeah, I'm going to swap out my spatulas. I have one that's bigger and one that's a little bit smaller. So I'm just going to use this and kind of scrape. It is kind of sticking to the bottom, but that's okay. We've got the bits. That's one thing that you want with fried rice, is you want those brown bits. You don't want burnt though. So make sure that you're not burning it. So I'm just going to go like that. And I'm just taking the rice and I am putting over the top here like that. I'll get this out of the way. And I am going to add some soy sauce. I'm just using regular soy sauce. And I do have the directions that I have in the cookbook. I do have the full directions on my website, from Michigan to the table.com, that has the proper measurements in it and stuff. But usually I do this to taste. So I add a little bit, I stir it all together, let it cook a little bit, and then I will taste it and see, see what I like with it. And usually I can tell by just looking at it whether it is the right consistency. And so just be careful. This is where it kind of gets, because I'm making a lot here. And you can easily cut this recipe down if it's just you, like just make a small amount. And if you're doing it on the big griddle, you can make more if you want, especially if you're doing it for, a larger family. So I'm spreading it out. I'm taking the end of this here, and I am just spreading it out, and I'm just going to let it cook. Just like that. We're going to leave it be. I'm going to shut the lid. I kind of dropped a little bit here. And I'm just going to let this go. And this is where you need patience, where you have to really be patient and you have to let it cook and do its thing. And, don't fuss with it. I say this is a time not to fuss with your food and just let it, you want those brown bits on the bottom. That is one thing with this recipe, is you want those golden brown bits, and just letting it do its thing is the best thing on this. Let's see. So if you want this full recipe, you can go to FromMichiganToTheTable.com, and I have different fried rice recipes in there. You can look up the chicken fried rice. You can go to the search bar at the top and just type in fried rice, and it'll pop up a whole bunch of them in there for you. You can go, if you're watching on YouTube, I do have other videos on this, and so you can watch the different videos. You can search in my thing and watch that. You can also get my cookbook. You can go to FromMichiganToTheTable.com and go to Sherry Shop, and I have my cookbook. So I have the digital cookbook, I have the printed cookbook, and I also have a griddle course, a membership that I have, that it's my Griddle Secrets membership. And you can, I actually walk through this step by step with you, and I teach you how to make this fried rice recipe, from starting in the kitchen, how to cook the rice, how to cut up the vegetables. I walk through it step by step with you, and then we cook it on the griddle. So it gives you a better understanding of how I do each step. And that is in my Griddle Secrets membership. So you can go to mygriddlesecrets.com, and I have all kinds of information. I have free printables in there that you can get, griddle printables, that I have tips, and I have all different kind of, like a temperature guide, I believe, different stuff that you can print up for free. I have the digital cookbook, I have the printed cookbook, and then access to the course. And I also have like one-on-one, if you want to work with me one-on-one. I have that option in there to where you can sign up with me and do that. So that's in the mygriddlesecrets.com area. And, just gives you just some different opportunities, different options, I should say. So we've let this cook for a few minutes. I'm going to open it up. Remember, I'm going to open it, but I'm going to be careful not to burn myself. I'm going to go like that. because of the steam there. And then I'm just going to stir it. And I can tell that there's brown bits on the bottom. So I'm using this to scrape those brown bits off. That is what you want. You want that nice, look at the nice crispiness on there. And this recipe is so amazing. But I can see it's not quite stirred up. I have like white rice showing here. It should all be a brownish color from the soy sauce. So I don't have it mixed up quite right. Or I need to, probably what I need to add some more soy sauce to it because it's not quite to what I want. And so at this point, this is where you're going to want to test it. So you're going to, it's, everybody's different. You can use your own seasonings on this, but I'm going to just test it a little bit and see what it is. I'm almost positive that I need to add more to it, but you still need to test it. You need to see if it has enough salt and pepper in it. It's not too bad. I think the salt and pepper is good on it, but I'm just gonna add a little bit more soy sauce. In this too, you can add the low sodium soy sauce if you want. You can add the soy sauce alternative. I know my aunt is one that she can't have soy at all, and soy sauce is something that she can't have, but you can have the soy sauce alternative and it works just fine in this recipe. So I'm just spreading it out a little bit and just going to let it cook. One thing you need to also make sure is check your vegetables. You want to make sure that your vegetables are done. Yeah. Yep. My vegetables are done. And I'm just going to let it cook. I'm going to close the lid on it again. And this is a recipe that you can use the lid. Usually when I'm outside on the griddle, the big griddle, I don't use the lid because I have it spread out and I'm able to cook it more. But in here, this is such a small surface that I find that if I don't use it, the vegetables don't want to cook very well. And it's just like I struggle with it. So I found with this one, I really like to use the lid on it. And and this is also a recipe you can make in a saute pan on the stove. It does take a little bit more, it's harder because, or at least if you make a smaller batch, it's not so bad. But me, I like to make a big batch of it. And I have a hard time because I just don't have a pan that's big enough to hold. As you can see, this is the 17 inches and it's full. It's completely full. There's like not any extra room on it at all. So, I don't know if you have any questions. If you are watching this on replay, I apologize for the sound. I didn't have my mic on earlier, and Roger was kind enough to let me know that my mic was not on. And but if you're coming in, if you could just tell me where you're from. I really like to know where you guys are tuning in from. I do have a lot of locals. I'm in Michigan, so I have a lot of locals that are watching me, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. And if you like this recipe, just make sure to put that in the comments. It helps me, the algorithms and stuff. It helps show to more people if you respond in the comments. And also if you go to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm really trying to grow that, and watch some of my videos. I have all kinds of, I've been working on live videos with the Blackstone Griddle, and I think this is my like 34th video that I have of this, that I've done different recipes. Plus I have my other videos that um, I have edited and that kind of thing, that are more structured, that are on there. So I have all kinds of Blackstone Griddle recipes on there for you to look at. Look at that. So I am scraping from the bottom. Look, this, I'm going to show you. This is exactly what you want. You want that nice crispy brown bits on there. That's what gives this flavor. That's what makes this amazing. And if you're constantly flipping it, you don't get this. I can't. It's just so good. And man, I'm turning it, and I'm getting all kinds. So I'm also taking this and I'm scraping, trying to get some of those bits up, because I want them in my fried rice. I don't want them to be constantly sticking to the griddle, because I want to get more of that rice with those brown bits in it. And with this recipe, I know some people might ask, well, why maybe add some more oil to it so it doesn't stick on there and stuff. I don't want to add more oil to it. It's plenty good enough. I don't want it drenched in oil, but I still want those brown bits from the cookedness on it. So, oh my God, I've got some amazing brown bits in this batch. So I'm just stirring it. And at this point, it's probably done. I can just cook it to however. The vegetables are done. The egg is done. The chicken, the bacon is done. I'm getting brown bits on the bottom of it. And so this is done. I don't think I'm going to cook it too much longer. You don't want to do too much with it. But this is a stage where my family would be sitting there with the bowls and saying, come on, let's get this done. I want to eat it. It smells delicious. And I'm tired of sitting here waiting for you to get it done. How long? It's been 30 minutes. This is all it has taken is to make this is 30 minutes. But you just have to make sure to have everything all prepped up. Man, oh man. This is super, super good. I think I'm just going to let this be, and I'm going to shut it off. And then I'm just going to transfer it to the bowl here. But that's it. This is it. This is done. Super, super easy. I'm going to take this off. I love this, how easy it is to put this lid on and take it off. Super, super easy. Oh, man, I'm seeing brown bits. I want a piece of chicken. This is perfect. So, this chicken fried rice, you can serve it as a side, or it can be your main meal. When I add the chicken to it, or like if I add the shrimp to it, this is our main meal. My husband will actually take a bowl this size, maybe a little bit, and he'll fill it up and he'll eat the whole bowl. That's how delicious this is. And that's how much they love this recipe. So I hope you guys like this recipe. This probably is my family's number one Blackstone Griddle recipe that they love, that they request all the time, that they ask for. I have people come over requesting, like, can you make your fried rice for us? Because it's just so good and we just love it and we miss it and we don't know how to make it like you make it. So learn this recipe. It might take you a few times of doing it, but the more you do it, the easier it is. And I can get it whipped up. I can have this in an hour from having all the vegetables, all the meat, everything all cut up to serving it. So, which is pretty good for something like this size, which you could feed quite a few people with this. So, I hope you enjoy this recipe. Go to my website, FromMichiganToTheTable.com. I have all kinds of recipes, Blackstone Griddle recipes on there. I have smoker recipes if you're looking for smoker, pellet smoker specifically, but I actually do have some other smoker recipes in there. And I have Midwestern cuisine recipes. I have baking recipes. I have all kinds of recipes on there. So just take a look, poke around, bookmark some things if you like it. And, I hope you guys enjoy this recipe, and maybe we will see you again sometime soon. Thank you. Bye.